Good morning and happy Friday. I am back at my waterfall, one of my favorite spots in this beautiful park that I'm in most mornings. So I'm coming up on 12 years since I had a drink, 12 years of sobriety. And I got asked yesterday if I ever craved alcohol. And I actually hadn't thought about that in a long time. And so I sat for a minute and then answered the question. And the answer is, well, kind of. I mean, every now and then there'll be a time, because next week is this golf tournament that I participated in and was a big part of for 40 years. And it's also at that tournament 12 years ago that I quit. Was the last time I took a drink. And so the person asked, does that trigger you at all? And, that's not a word that I grew up with. We call them anchors, but I don't really crave alcohol. What happens is once in a while, I'll be in a spot where, and it's usually like outside, like at a concert or something, where it's like, the thought of the feeling of drinking comes to me and be like, oh, that would be like a cool feeling to have right now. But when I decided to, first I decided to stop and then I decided to quit. And when I decided to quit, I anchored myself to write away the consequences of what would happen if I would ever drink again. So remember the swish pattern that I told you about a long time ago? That's where you take the thing that you want to change, the activity that you want to change, whatever the habit or this pattern, and that's all that it is that you want to change. I want to lose weight. I want to quit smoking. And then you take the ideal you, the picture of the perfect you. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Everybody gets wrapped up in, oh my God, I did it wrong. I didn't do it right. But you take the perfect you and you have it break through the old pattern, this conditioning that you want to get rid of, and boom, it goes to the perfect you. And you do these things, and they're called swish patterns or whoosh patterns. And you close your eyes when you do them, and they have to go you want it to have a lot of speed. You want to go whoosh, whoosh, and you want to do it multiple times. And all you're doing is reconditioning yourself. So when you think of this one thing, you're teaching your brain, see this, do this, see this, do this. And so what happens is if you think of that conditioning pattern, you go to the perfect you, and this picture that you have or feeling or whatever it is of how the ideal you, how you're supposed to look and be and who you're supposed to be around, and trust your other than conscious mind with regards to that. And so now what happens is if I ever have this desire where I'm like, oh, the idea of feeling intoxicated right now would be kind of fun, I go right to the consequences of that event. And I go right to two things. Number one, how I would feel the next day, because it's so great to wake up every morning and not feel like I did for a long period of my life. And then the consequence of I would have to face my daughter and tell her that I relapsed, which I would never, ever, ever, ever do. So that conditioning takes me so that I don't even have to, it's effortless to not drink. I don't even think about it. I'll never take a drink again in my life, and I don't even have to worry about that. That's not even a possibility. And that's what happens when you make a real decision, is you decide. Remember, decision comes from the Latin incision, to cut off from all other options. But once you make that decision, that swish pattern is a great way to condition yourself to the outcomes that you want. See this, bam, do this. See this, bam, do this. Condition yourself that way every day, 20, 30 times for 7 days, and it'll be a whole new life. So you're at the end of the week. What is it that, is there a pattern that you would really like to no longer have as part of your life? And that's all a habit or a ritual is, whether it's being overweight or smoking or whatever it is, drinking too much, eating the wrong things, whatever it is. It's just a pattern. It's just a condition, and we can recondition ourselves at any time. You're the one that's in charge. We are in charge of our minds. We are in charge of how we think and how we feel. It doesn't feel that way a lot of times. It feels like we're in reaction. But the reality is we are the ones that are in charge. So what is it that you would want to change? And then just do those swish patterns, do those whoosh patterns, and condition yourself to the new you. And before you know it, 12 years will have gone by without any alcohol, and it won't even be. The great thing about making that decision is it's effortless. If anybody's here ever quit smoking where you really quit, you're not tempted by a cigarette. In fact, when you smell a cigarette, it smells bad. Same thing is true with anything else. Whatever it is in your life that you want to get rid of, you can make that decision. Decisions, they can take a long time to happen, but in reality, we can change our lives in a heartbeat. And the way we do it is to make that decision. And then once you do that, you got to take some action. And a great action to take is to do these conditioning rituals, do these swish patterns. It's a great way to recondition yourself to become the person that you always wanted to be. So, hope that made sense and is helpful. Let's say good morning to everybody this morning. My Uncle Bill, great to see you. Dolly, great to have you on. Michelle, my goodness, it's been a long time. Thanks so much for hopping on. Linda, been a long time for you too. Wendy down in Florida. I'm sure I'll see you in December. Cece, great to see you, dear. I hope the yoga, I know you went up to Canada for your yoga thing. I hope it went well. Mr. Egan, thank you so much, brother. Thanks for hopping on. You quit smoking at the UPW on Health Day. Good for you. And Julie Schmelsley-Harn, so great to see you. Please say hi to your husband. I miss you guys. Hope everything is great. Thank you for watching, everybody. Truly honored when people hop on and take the time. We're all in this together. Let's take care of each other.